100.5, just for you.
For the nation's capital, Monrovia. Good evening and welcome to King's News Run 45 minutes. News presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Today is Wednesday, January 21st, 2026. I'm Newton Topa presenting stories we're following this evening. Clara Hope Foundation raises concerns over judiciary oversight. Fast a motion to quash proceedings instituted against the institution by Criminal Code A. LDC dismisses inadequate electricity claims, attributes recent power disruption impasse of the country to technical strips on the regional line. These plus the news bulletin, our international developments, and our package. We are taking a very short break to be right back. Thanks for rejoining us. This John Show crossover to Kwame Brown with the news bulletin.
The Liberia Electricity Corporation has attributed the recent power outage affecting parts of the country to technical disturbances on the regional transmission line. Recently, LEC customers have expressed dissatisfaction over what they described as frequent electricity interruptions and inadequate power supply in several areas. However, in a statement issued on Tuesday, the corporation explained that the disruptions were caused by certain technical trips on the regional CLSG transmission network. According to LEC, the situation led to an automatic shutdown at local substations as part of built-in protection mechanisms designed to safeguard critical equipment and maintain overall grid stability. The corporation further stated that it is working closely with its regional partners to address the challenges and strengthening the reliability of the power grid. The House of Representatives has passed into law the amended Mineral Development Agreement between the government of Liberia and ArcelorMittal Liberia. In a statement issued Tuesday following the passage of the agreement, the House said the decision was based on a comprehensive report submitted by the Joint Committee on Investment and Concessions, Land, Mines and Energy, Natural Resources and Environment, and Judiciary during its third day of sitting. The statement quoted the House plenary as describing the decision as being in the best interest of the Liberian people. According to the lawmakers, the amended agreement reaffirms government ownership of the rail and port infrastructure and introduces rail system operating principles aimed at transitioning the rail corridors into a multi-user system. The further noted that the third amendment represents a significant improvement over the existing MDA, particularly in terms of increased government revenue, infrastructure ownership, and employment opportunities. The lawmaker maintained that the amendment would enhance Liberia's economy and strategic positioning while ensuring the balance between investors' returns and the national interests. In a landmark move aimed at bringing governance closer to the people, the Ministries of Internal Affairs has officially transitioned into the Ministries of Local Government. The shift marks a definitive steps in the implementations of Liberia's long-standing decentralization agenda, singling an end to the highly centralized administrative structure that has defined the nation for decades. The transition was confirmed on Tuesday by the Minister of Local Governance, Francis Nyemane, who emphasized that the change is not merely symbolic, but is a statutory that's requirement. According to the minister, The rebranding and restructuring are grounded in the local government act, which was passed by the legislature and signed into law by the president in 2018. Minister Newman explained that the local government act provides the essential legal framework of transferring authority from the central government in Monrovia to local county administrations. The Center for National Documents and Records Agency has assured the Liberian that's public that measures are underway to modernize the institution and strengthening its mandate of preserving the nation's historical records. Speaking during a media engagement, Monrovia, the Director General of the National Archives, Nelson Bianga, expressed optimism that the agency would be transformed in that's meeting regional and international standards comparable to similar records keeping institutions across West Africa. He emphasized that the modernization process would require the collective commitment of all employees of the National Archives. He also stressed the need for a collaboration, dedication, and teamwork among staff members to ensure they achieve the institution's modernization goals and enhancing its overall effectiveness. The Hope Restored Foundation International, a human rights organization, has called on the Liberian government to establish protection measures for potential witnesses of war crimes following reports that several alleged war crime suspects have been deported to Liberia. Reports have indicated that a number of former warlords are facing deportation after allegedly providing false information in their immigration and asylum applications regarding their involvement in Liberia's civil war, which lasted from 1990 to 2003. Speaking to reporters in Monrovia on Wednesday, the foundation executive director and ambassador Mason Bakau urged the Ministries of Justice and the Liberian National Police to take seriously the fears expressed by victims of war crimes. He noted that many victims remain concerned about their safety should alleged former rebel commanders return to the country. Ambassador Pacquiao described the concerns as legitimate, adding that they are widely shared by credible civil society organizations, institutional human rights and institutions, and advocacy groups that continue to seek justice and accountability for crimes committed during Liberia's civil war. The Assistant Commissioner of Police, that's Faisal Sharif, has formally handed over command of the Liberian National Police Bond County Detachment to the newly appointed County Commander Williams W. Johnson. The official turnover ceremony was held on Wednesday at the Banga Regional Hub and marked a significant leadership transition aimed at strengthening law enforcement, public safety, and security across Bond County. ACP Sheriff, who served as Bond County Commander for 4 years, expressed appreciation to officers, community leaders, and residents for their cooperation and support throughout their tenure. He encouraged the public to maintain strong collaboration with the police to sustain peace and order in the country. In a remark, ACP Johnson pledged to build upon the foundation laid by the predecessors. Liberia's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sarah Baizolo Yanti, has called for more strategic partnerships among governments, multilateral institutions, and private sector, stressing that Liberia's economic future is closely linked to its diplomatic and peace-building role on the global stage. According to her, Liberian stands at a pivotal moment in its national journey that is defined not by dependency, but the proactive engagement and shared responsibility. She said participation of global partners at the roundtable reflects growing confidence in Liberia's prospects and a shared commitment to principled, reward, forward-looking partnerships. Madam Yanti emphasized that Liberia is redefining its place in the international community, not as a recipient of goodwill, but as an active partner in global economic diplomacy, peace building, and multilateral cooperation. The Ministry of National Defense has ordered the immediate evacuation of all illegal occupants from the Camp Ramot military barrack, following that's also known as the 72nd Barracks. According to the release issued Wednesday by the ministry, the barrack has been unlawfully occupied since the end of the Liberian Civil War, despite several attempts over the years to reclaim the property. It noted that the continuing illegal occupation has reportedly hindered the armed forces of Liberia from rehabilitating the facility and expanding accommodation for newly recruited personnel and operational units. Pavement work at Banga Mankruma has been temporarily suspended following a protest by residents of Gwaye town in Electoral District 4, Bon County. The protesters are demanding that Chico, a Chinese road construction company, fulfills its social and corporate responsibility obligations under a that's memorandum of understanding signed with the community in 2018. Under the 10-year MOU, Chico reportedly provided 20,000 United States dollars in benefits to Guayatown and its residents. The engagement reportedly included provisions of the rehabilitations of roads within the clay and commitment residents say have not been fully honored. Residents said the, the I served as one of Chico's main operational base in District 4, including hosting the company's rock quarry. Yet the community claims it has derived little tangible benefit from the company's since then. And residents of Moneytown, that's Money Sweet Town in Cocoa District, Bon County, have accused the Environmental Protection Agency of delaying its response to a chemical spill that they claim contaminated their drinking water and nearby creeks used for daily activities. The incident reportedly occurred on January 18, 2026, when a truck transporting hydrochloric acid from the Freeport of Monrovia to the MNG Gold Liberia site caused fire. The blaze reportedly caused the leakage of about 40 liters of the chemical along the Banga Kokoya Road near the community. In response, the EPA has assured the residents that situation will be addressed swiftly in the institute, that's the community.
Kwame Brown there with the news bulletin. And the news bulletin is a regular feature here on King's Newsroom. But if you just joined us this evening, a reminder you're listening to King's Newsroom, a 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Today is Wednesday, January 21st, 2026, and I'm Newton Jogba presenting stories we following this evening. Claho Foundation raises concerns over judiciary oversight, files a motion to quash proceedings instituted against the institution by Criminal Court A. The LDC dismisses that's inadequate electricity claims, attributes recent power disruption in parts of the country to technical trips on the regional line. We are taking a very short break. When we come back, we bring you the voices of the news. Thanks for joining. The Assistant Commissioner of Police, Faso Sharif, has formally handed over command to the Liberia National Police Broom County Detachment to newly appointed County Commander William Johnson. The official turnover ceremony was held on Wednesday at the Bangor Regional Hub and marked a significant leadership transition aimed at strengthening law enforcement, public safety, and security across Broom County. ACP Sherry, who served the county as commander for 4 years, expressed appreciation to officers, community leaders, and residents for their cooperation and support throughout his tenure.
Today is a remarkable day for me. In the period of time I served the citizens and the people of Broom County during the past 4 years. There's a humble, there's a gratitude for me not to come and stand before you here to express my farewell. Today, I'm happy, I'm honored to turn the gavel of authority to my big brother, my boss man, my colleague, and the incoming commander. I say all the title, Honorable Superintendent and Honorable Mayor and Minister of Justice, for people to know the link that we have on the person that is coming to take over from me. Some years back, he served as zone commander, and I served as depot commander in the same zone. So he served as a boss man, and we've been knowing one another from that trial record up to present where we became fully compatriots. So it's not strange to me, I'm not strange to him. So our rotational process is a good news for Broom County. It's also a good news for Grandfather County. Fellow officers, I have come to ask you humbly, with your compassion, with your commitment, and your diligent services that you render to my administration. I'm hereby requesting you, officers of Broom County, to please receive incoming commander and serving with due diligence as you did.
In remarks, ACP Johnson pledged to build upon the foundation laid by his predecessor. He emphasized his commitment to enhancing community policing, improving crime response, and fostering public trust in the LMP.
I will begin by recognizing the captain who can take our junior process here person. Prosecutor will have to do the criminal tool that I'm proud of the process here. The regional hub manager here present. Magnitude Association full expert. The our officers here, present, district of our country, whosoever here, with joint security. Lastly, founded the last in of commander. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Now, all right. Said in here, the coming advisor, the advisor name, the big country, the work country. People will wonder why is it Johnson is using password to bomb. That question, that's what he said. Living for countries that have inhabitants 200 to 1,000, coming to a country that have 447,000 inhabitants, there is no income. 12 administrative districts. We have now, as of now, and the 12, 7 in the 12 districts. That's a great achievement for me. The 7 years of police experience. But I've come here
ACP William Johnson there speaking. Earlier, you heard the voice of outgoing police commander of Broom County, ACP Fasu Sheriff. Residents of Monastery Town in Kokoya Statutory District, Broom County, have accused the Environmental Protection Agency of delaying its response to chemicals spilled that they claim contaminated their drinking water and nearby creeks used for daily activities. The incident reported occurred on January 18, 2026, when a truck transporting hydrochloric acid from the free port of Monrovia to the MNG Gold Liberia site caught fire. The blaze reported caused the leakage of about 40 liters of chemical along the Banga Kokoya Road near the community. However, in response, the EP has assured the residents that the situation will be addressed swiftly.
The acid that were in there, according to the environmental head of the MNG, he said the acid that was wasting there is a hydrochloric acid that was wasting going into the village. But then it happened in rubber farm. But then going down to the village, there where we went, the environmental head to us we blame that the acid is dangerous to him or her. The old people shouldn't venture around and get to the place. You know, younger children shouldn't go there. That's how we listen to that pieces of advice given us. And they said they want to see our water, the pond that we're drinking. So he went there, he takes the pump. According to him, the incident occurred and not past hour and a half past. The creep were drinking to the bottom part of the town and the pond area, all have been polluted, so we can't drink it. So he told us it's safe, and not passing hour, he said traveling under the ground. He said it's safe for us? No, that's how we left it. So from another time, it was around 9 when the environmental hair came. He said it was around 9. So they left, and we requested for food and water because our farm rules all were black, and the 200 of danger around that place. The heat from it affects the citizens. So we've been here for a long time. We've been here. So they said they're going to come with water for 9 a.m. Since this morning, we are not eating, our children are not drinking, and we're taking water from another waste chute. Tell them motivated water from waste chute beginning here. MNG, we're not keeping it. Yeah, so okay, let me just bring your attention that where the chemical traveling is traveling, there's a valley from here to Mafita, Gorobeta. So the citizens from there, they're all affected. So you can see, not just
Voices of citizens of Monastery Town expressing this satisfaction. What if you just joining us with the time have passed the hour? I remind you listening to King's News Broom, a 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest of the world. Stories will following this evening. Claho Foundation raises concerns over the judiciary oversight, files a motion to quash proceedings instituted against the institution by criminal court. Mother of a 15-year-old victim allegedly sodomized by former NSA agent and 2 other accomplices accuses government's lead prosecutor in the ongoing investigation of intimidation and harassment. EDC dismisses inadequate electricity claims, attributes recent power disruption in parts of the country to technical trips on the regional line. Away from home, Nigeria's police have confirmed that a group of worshippers was kidnapped from 3 churches in a remote part of the country in the northern Kaduna State. These are stories we're following here this evening on King's News. We are taking a very short break. When we come back, we continue more voices on the program. Thanks for rejoining. The Center for National Documents and Records Agency has assured the Liberian public that measures are underway to modernize the institution and strengthen its mandate of preserving the nation's historical records. Speaking during a media engagement in Monrovia, the Director General of the National Archives, Nelson Bayokat, expressed optimism that the agency will be transformed to meet regional and international standards comparable to similar record-keeping institutions across West Africa.
That's my prayer always to God. Power and money should not change me because I came from the background of classroom. That is the things I pray to God that even I will spend more than 8 years in government, I should not be involved in corruption. So the reason I'm thanking my staff, all of the staff here, is because if all of us do the right thing, the praises for all of us, not just me. I'm just a vessel standing up, but I people, the technicians, and people doing extremely well. So we should not be like a white chicken that when we're being praised, then we join into real oil. I hope and pray that whatsoever all of us should live by this kind of respect, that people to improve our working. And I can assure you, unless indirectly, that maybe out of ignorance, I will do one or two things, but I can assure you people that this will not even stop. The only thing there is we are challenged, the government is challenged, and I'm part of the government, so we cannot see it that, oh yeah, everything will be bread and butter or it will be rosy. But at times go back, within 3 to 4 years' time, the archive that you know of few years back, it will not be the same archive. We are very committed to the work. This is what we ask to rescue this country. And that's my saying. Yesterday, we said certain things were wrong, and we came to correct those wrongs. So when people ask me, also, when you came, what was the challenge, this and that? The challenge is we say we want to serve. That's the only challenge for me, I can say. But once everybody's on a hand on decks, that we're willing to do the work, we'll do that very good job, and we'll achieve what we want to achieve for this place, for the country to know that, yes, they got good sons and daughters in government. So I want.
He's the Director General of the National Archive, Nelson Bayuka, they're speaking. The Hope Restore Foundation International, a human rights organization, has called on the Liberian government to establish protection measures for potential witnesses of war crimes following reports that several alleged war crime suspects had been deported to Liberia. Reports have indicated that a number of former warlords are facing deportation after allegedly providing false information in their immigration and asylum applications regarding their involvement in Liberia's civil war, which lasted from 1990 to 2003. Speaking to reporters in Monrovia Wednesday, the foundation executive director, Ambassador Mason Bakil, urged the Minister of Justice and the Liberian National Police to take seriously the fears expressed by victims of war crimes.
Having listened to some concerns from citizens, especially those who direct victims of the Liberian Civil War, that they are having some kind of a fear or they are not really satisfied that some accused former fighters, especially those outside of Liberia, are about to be deported to Liberia or are now in Liberia, that their presence here poses serious kind of a concern for them, and they are very, very concerned. I side with them. I do sympathize with them as well for raising their concerns as well. But what I do want to really, really assure them is that as far as where we are now is concerned with respect to the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Code and of course the National Anti-Corruption Code, these returnees are not going to be, having their free will also. What we need to actually now push for in so this particular code, the establishment of it as well. And so I'm deeply concerned, but I want to assure you guys that nobody going to do anything to you. Thank you for raising the concern as well. For some of us, for me especially, I'm going to make sure that I reach out to the authorities, especially the Ministry of Justice, to raise these concerns, and also the Office of the War and Economic Crimes Code as well. So we take your concerns very serious as well, but rest assured, nobody going to touch you. Nobody going to harm you. They will face justice in Liberia.
He's the executive director of the Hope Restore Foundation International, Mason Bakil. They're speaking in a landmark move aimed at bringing governance closer to the people, the Ministry of Internal Affairs has officially transitioned into the Ministry of Local Government. The shift marks that's definite steps in the implementation of Liberia's long-standing decentralization agenda, signaling the end to a highly centralized administrative structures that has defined the nation for decades. The transition was confirmed on Tuesday by the Minister of Local Government, Francis Shakali Nimalin, who emphasized that the change is not merely symbolic, but it is a statutory requirement. According to the minister, the rebranding and restructuring are granted into Local Government Act, which was passed by the legislature and signed into law by the president in 2018.
His Excellency President Joseph Numa Boakai highlighted decentralization as the cornerstone of his administration's arrest agenda for inclusive development, the AARD. In his speech, President Boakai intimated that for too long, the highly centralized government in Monrovia excluded and left rural communities marginalized. To change the paradigm shift, President Boakai committed his administration to the full implementation of the 2018 Local Government Act and called on the legislature to establish the Ministry of Local Government. Following his address, President Boakai directly empowered local governance by instructing all relevant ministries, agencies, and commissions to devolve approval and signing authorities to their representatives at county service centers. The President of the Republic of Liberia, in line with his vision to improve governance and enhance national development, in August 2025, requested a change in the name of the Ministry of Internal Affairs to the Ministry of Local Government and an amendment in Chapter 25, Ministry of Internal Affairs, Title 12, Executive Law of 1972, Liberian Codes of Law revised to establish in Easter a new Chapter 25 known as the Ministry of Local Government. The amendment of the Act paves the way for the operationalization of the 2011 National Policy on Decentralization and Local Governance by the government and the subsequent enactment of the Local Government Act of 2018.
Francis Nimalin, the Minister of the Ministry of Local Government, speaking. And away from Liberia, Nigeria's police have now confirmed that a group of worshippers were kidnapped from 3 churches in a remote part of the northern Kaduna state after previously denying it. More than 2 days after the raid on the criminal village, police on Tuesday night said an earlier statement denying the attack had been widely misinterpreted. Local residents told the BBC that 177 worshippers had been abducted and that 11 later escaped. Police spokesperson Benjamin did not give any numbers, but said subsequent checks by operational units and intelligence sources had confirmed the adoption. They said security forces had been fully deployed to the area and the search and research operations and patrols were underway. On that notice, I would like to go home this evening on this edition of the program King's News Broom, a 45 minutes news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and the rest afterward. But just before we go home this evening, let's remind you of stories we've been following. Clear Hope Foundation raises concerns over judiciary oversight, files a motion to quash proceedings instituted against the institution by Criminal Court A. Mother of a 15-year-old victim allegedly sodomized by former NSA agent and 2 other accomplices accused government's lead prosecutor in the ongoing investigation of intimidation and harassment. The LDC dismisses inadequate electricity claims, attributes recent power disruption in parts of the country to technical scripts on the regional line. Away from Liberia, Nigeria's police have confirmed that a group of worshippers were kidnapped from 3 churches in a remote part of the northern Kaduna state. These are stories we closely follow here at the King's News Broom. Kwame Brown was here with the news bulletin, while Melvin Vasada controls and coordinated the sounds. I would like to say many thanks to all of our reporters, correspondents, news editors who helped in making this package. Our sources, my name is Newton Tukba. Thanks for listening and watching. Good evening.